What's going on? Welcome back to another RPO College Football Podcast, your favorite college football podcast. My name is Jerome Jones, and I'm here with my guy, the man, the myth, the legend. You know who he is, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
Good, man. Good, man. Hey, I'm excited. If we have a new podcast on Tuesday nights. It's called First and Foremost. We cover a lot of high school football, especially here in Georgia. I think I mentioned it last week about it. And we had a guy, his name was Najee, and he came on there and, high school football podcast. So we're not talking college. We don't do that. But he came out of nowhere. It was like, I guarantee you that Michigan is going to lose to Penn State, get their first loss of the year, and this, and that. I was like, all right, let's make a bet out of this. Chick-fil-A on the line. All right. I'm still waiting for my Chick-fil-A. I just got to say that. I'm still waiting on my Chick-fil-A. So the guy thought, you guys ain't playing nobody, baby. I'm like, first of all, you play who's on your schedule. Second of all, we've been handling the people that are on the schedule. So shout out to my boys in blue. We're gonna talk about that in a second, Ray. But how you been, man? How you been? I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. My question is this: is he a Penn State fan? The guy you're talking about?
No.
He's a Michigan hater. Okay, I got you.
Yep. Okay. And I'm actually learning that there's a lot of Michigan haters down here in Georgia.
There's Michigan haters a lot of places, Jerome. You know what, man? And I am not a Michigan fan.
Correct.
There have been times when I would tell you I hate Michigan. But again, man, I don't disrespect teams. I don't disrespect any team.
Yeah.
The difference between me and
you. Yeah, we're even with Ohio State. I would hate Ohio State. This and that. But no matter what, I will always give that team their respect when they beat us or it is a good team. So, I mean, this is just the life that, me and you are, right? We're realists. So we're going to tell the truth. But as far as the rest of everything else with college football, we're going to get into that. But first and foremost, and I no pun intended when I say that, let's get into our first game. That will be Michigan versus Penn State. Michigan obviously won, as we open this up with 24-15. At halftime, it was a 9-14 game. Penn State actually started off the game with a field goal and made it look like they was gonna, give Michigan a little bit of a run at first. But Michigan playing without their head coach, Jim Harbaugh, and we can get a little bit into Jim Harbaugh a little bit in his situation as well, right? But what was your initial thoughts on this game?
Big Ten had a great game, 2.5, 3 quarters, and then you know what happened. The coach does what that coach does, and he just he's not a good game coach.
He literally blew open the game when he did that. He really did.
Right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, right after that happened, that was the Blake Corum touchdown, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Directly after that.
You basically had a big physical, classic Big Ten type of a game, and Penn State and Michigan going back and forth, and then whoever blinked first loses the game.
Yeah.
That was, of course, Penn State, and they lost the game because their coach panics in big situations. Sorry.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Here's the thing, the drum, like we just talked about, I have been a Michigan hater because of what we do here. I try to keep as real as I possibly can. I do.
Correct. Yeah.
So I've told you for a couple of years, I don't think James Franklin is a good game coach. He's an excellent recruiter, man. I'm not ever going to say anything else. Penn State is loaded with talent. They have been for the last few years.
Correct.
He doesn't seem to get a lot done with it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But this was exactly what I mean. Like, you had a game going back and forth, close game the whole way until James Franklin blinks. going for it on 4th and 5, I believe.
I don't know if it was 5, Ray. It might have been longer than that.
Maybe 7.
Yeah.
And inside your own 35-yard line? I mean, what are you doing? I mean, like, you had, and don't get me wrong, there was only 4 minutes left in the game. You're thinking, oh, well, maybe we won't get the ball back.
It was still a close game. It was an 8-point game, I think it was.
You needed to punt the ball, put the game in your defense. If your defense doesn't get a stop and you don't get the ball back, then you lose.
Yeah.
You guarantee losing with that play.
Correct. My thing is, too, this game was a weird game for me in the sense of how the season been going for Michigan's offense, and then looking at it, we came into this game and we knew that both teams had really good defenses. Ray, I made that bold statement last week saying I think this is Michigan's best defense in the last 10 years, and we don't even have a first-round pick. And no, I'm sorry, I said it to LaMarcus. I didn't say it to you. I said it to LaMarcus. But I know, so I'm going to say it here on live. I said this before this game. I think this is the best Michigan team in the last 10 years, and we don't have a single first-round pick on that defense. Now, Chris Jenkins might sneak into the first round, but outside of that, I don't – and he, like I said, he's like sneak into the first round. He might not even be a first round. So, for me to say that, and we had 2 years ago, maybe 3, I think it is now, where we had 2 first-round defensive ends. And I think we had a first-round safety in that. Dax Hill, I think that was the year that he got drafted too. So we had 3 first-round picks in the defense that year, and I think this team is better. So for me to say that, I think this defense is rolling. Penn State's defense is really, and I think that came into the game plan for this because J.J. McCaffrey only had 8 attempts in the entire game. Now, he had some other ones where there was called back and whatever, but officially, they ran the ball 30 times in a row at one point. There was like, this pass rush is really good. This defensive back is really good. The defensive back is really good. We're going to run the ball, run the clock out, and get this win. And for me, initially I was just like, why are we keep running? But like the running averages was really good. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, if it's working as long as, and it was funny because, Penn State was damn near about doing the same thing too. Like, they was not trying to pass the ball either because, Drew Ackler was not passing that well. J.J. McCaffrey had 8 attempts. Ackler had 22 attempts. J.J. McCaffrey only had 10 less yards than Adler.
Yeah, also he completed 7 of 8, and Eller only completed 10 of 22.
Correct.
So there's your difference in the yardage right there. I mean, man, I wonder this, Jerome. I mean, Michigan played a great game.
Correct.
The defense was great. They didn't throw the ball in the whole second half, not once.
That's what I'm saying.
Not once.
Yep.
It makes me wonder, did they just do it for that, or they feel like McCarthy, like he's not a great quarterback? You know what I mean? Like,
I can't believe that. Just like he would. I mean, he's probably not going to have Heisman votes now because that game was such a low stat game. It knocked him down horribly. But prior to this game, he was starting to get Heisman contentions. He was getting Heisman talks. So I don't think it's a not trusting the quarterback thing. I think it's more of that defense was really good. He was running really well. And I don't think there was any point of passing. I mean,
no, I agree, Jerome.
Plus, you don't have your head coach in there too, so do what's working.
Yeah, when you're averaging over 5 yards a carry, correct, and you run for 231 yards, you don't really need to throw the ball.
Correct.
I get that. I mean, plus you have Donovan.
And you're looking at your defense too, and like, hey, they're on their end of the bargain. There's no point of us.
Honestly, like you said, Penn State didn't. I mean, I think they were waiting for Michigan to try to throw the ball, and they were like almost a little surprised by it, I think.
Yeah.
So again, you did something they weren't ready for. So good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a good game plan. I thought it was like I said, it threw me off when I seen it, but hey, man,
I mean,
it worked.
we both know that like Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards were two of your best players on offense anyway, so give them the ball.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. And I'm drawing so much parallels with this Michigan team and my Eagles because both offenses can go out there and be like, oh, we're gonna run. Oh, we're gonna run around your throat, run it 30-some plus times, and we don't have to worry about our offense. Passing. And then the next game, you're throwing it for 400 yards. So I like how that is where you can go into a game plan and be like, I feel like we can be dominant passing, and I feel like we can be dominant running. We can be able to do both. If a team's trying to stop one thing, we can stop them with the other thing. So I do like that part about this team and this offense. I think in the beginning of the year, everybody was trying to stop our running game. AJ McCaffrey, stepped up. It's kind of iffy at first, but he stepped up and played very well. Like I said, he had Heisman contention. So I love this team. I love teams that are really good at defense still. This was probably the highest second highest that Michigan gave up as far as points this year. And I'm about to check that real quick.
Yeah, it was, again, Jerome, I got to watch almost all the whole game.
That was the highest. 15 points is the highest that Michigan got scored on this year.
Okay. I mean, you know what? It's funny because, again, my dad was a Penn State fan, so I don't ever root against them.
Correct.
But I am not a James Franklin fan, man. I'm sorry. And I get into disagreements with people all the time about him. And again, here's what bothers me. Every time they start with, he recruits and he does. It's not the point, man. He doesn't get enough out of the players that he's recruiting.
Correct. And Drew Aller was a highly sought out quarterback.
And honestly, Jerome, and I'm not going to make – dude, he played bad. I don't care what anyone says. He was bad, man.
He was bad.
He was not accurate. Even when he was completing passes, he wasn't accurate. Gave the guys no chance of getting yards after they got the ball in their hands. It was always behind them or over their heads. Or he was really, really bad.
Listen, they and at the end of that game, they did a crossing route, and then that receiver was wide open. And he threw it behind him.
Wide open, yes.
He was wide open. I was like, when I seen it, I was like, oh, that's a first down.
There were some other plays on the sideline where if he just hits a guy and puts the ball in front of him, there's more yardage to get.
Correct.
Because if you don't understand, or I shouldn't say that. When you see a guy when he's extending or reaching back behind himself or jump, dude, that gives you no chance to get out of yardage.
Correct.
When it's out here or over here or even here, then I can turn and run.
Correct.
But, I got to adjust my body, and you leave me susceptible to getting hit, which is even worse.
Exactly. So I thought that was crazy. Well, before we get off, did you see why am I blanking on his name? I think it was Benny. Big boy, 340 pounds, run down and running back.
Yeah.
My God, that was like the highlight of the day.
Yeah.
I was like, go ahead, big boy. That was awesome.
It was a really fun game to watch. It was a good game. Like an old Big Ten game. I really was. I was excited to watch that kind of a game. I thought it was a good game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like our loss a game for Penn State, but he didn't give them a chance to really be in the game as well as they could have been.
Correct. No, I agree.
But it was a good game.
Right. Definitely a good game. Yep. All right, let's get to our next one. Colorado versus Arizona. Ray, what is going on in Colorado? Arizona's actually playing pretty well this year, and I wasn't expecting it. They're 7-3. They actually start off really slow. they're 7-3. They beat Colorado, who was 4-6. 34-31. The crazy thing is, Shadir did not play a horrible game. 22 for 35. He had 262 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Outside of him, I mean, even him rushing 42 yards and a touchdown. Outside of him, his team was lackluster, right? What was your thoughts on this one?
I think that Arizona's defense played fairly well at times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Arizona, what you saw was Arizona's offense is not that great.
Yeah.
But they look pretty decent against Colorado. So I think it's really Colorado's defense needs a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still small defense, man.
They are.
And it's starting to catch up with them. I hate it because I do root for Deion Sanders, but coming into the season, I think we both was kind of like putting a pause on this team, and it's like, new team, a lot of transfers. When you have a lot of transfers, you don't have a lot of the right fit for your team. You're still trying to figure things out, this and that.
It's hard to have continuity when you're bringing new guys into the locker room too.
Correct.
You probably had some guys there that were like probably weren't crazy about the fact that they weren't going to be getting as much playing time.
Correct.
I mean, again, we're talking about Jonah Coleman, who's a good football player, the running back for Arizona, who's a good football player, but he averaged 16 yards a carry. That's
crazy. That's crazy.
You made it 16 yards a carry, not a reception. That just shouldn't happen.
That's insane. No, for real, right?
Colorado is they're a small team up front, and there's a lot of work to do there for sure.
Right. Yeah, and it's hard to get transfers in from the offensive and defensive line, honestly. So, like, you can have all the transfers you want on the outside and stuff like that. If it's not doing right in the trenches, then it's not going to work out, man. So,
agreed.
But yeah, and I think we all kind of like sipped the Kool-Aid a little bit. Colorado started off hot, being a depleted TCU, and when I say depleted, like half of their roster went to the NFL last year, including key pieces like they're almost their whole entire defensive line, receiver, the quarterbacks, I think 2 running backs, their punt returner that was a speedster. They lost a lot to the NFL last year. And then, first game out with a whole bunch of pieces, Colorado, put it on them. The game after that, it wasn't Colorado State. I think it was the third game. I forgot what the game right after TCU. But they beat that team. That team wasn't that great. Came out, and this game should have been the implication that let's kind of pump the brakes back on Colorado because Colorado State was not great of a team, and they went to overtime for that. So I think we all was in awe by Coach Prime and hoping that he did well, and I think a lot of us are rooting for Coach Prime, and I think that's why all the hype got there. But it's definitely premature. It was definitely premature.
I think again, I think what it did is it created a little bit of a target.
Yeah,
Colorado, and people didn't want like, oh yeah, these guys are good now. Like they're not. There's still a lot of work to be done in Colorado. And people even forget, man. They won one game last year.
Yeah,
there was only one way they could go. To be honest, Deion is going to do a good job there. I think reality in that second game they played was against Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nebraska, there you go.
Realized that they still need there's a lot of work to do in Colorado. Like,
yeah,
I mean, again, Deion's going to do a good job there. I mean, as long as he's staying, he's going to do a good job.
I'm glad you said that, Ray, because I was actually about to transition to that. Because I want to talk about him and I want to talk about Harbaugh because there was two teams that we just talked about anyway. But let's start on Deion because we're on Deion right now. There obviously Jimbo Fisher just got fired from Texas A&M, getting hell of money for getting fired, man. Can I get fired like that?
Well,
Like,
that's the thing about coach, man. That's guaranteed money, buddy. You sign that contract.
What is it? 72 million?
You sign that contract.
That's a vacation.
I'll be honest with you, Jerome. You'd never hear from me again if I were Jimbo Fisher.
That's a vacation.
You
That's like on vacation. You let me go on vacation.
Honestly, at this point, I would go one of three ways. Either a real nice little university gives me a job because I'm Jimbo Fisher and I could just go away and coach, play golf, whatever I do.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go to a huge university where I can win to clear my name up a little bit.
And if he gets signed, he's going to get that money on top of the money that –
Correct. Or I just take my money that I've already earned and you never hear from me ever again.
I think I kind of like option C.
I
mean, unless you're like, I know there's a lot of coaches that love the coach and they just love the atmosphere and they just want to go back out there. I get that. So like, unless I'm in down near like I want to go back out there. All that money, I'm going on vacation. A couple.
Right. Jimmy Fisher is not Nick Saban, but Nick Saban is one of them guys you think like if he wasn't coaching, what would he do?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he has a lot of other hobbies, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So maybe Jimmy Fisher is one of them guys. Maybe he just sees himself as a football coach and he's going to get paid either way. So good for him.
100%.
Man, no one forced Texas A&M to give him that contract.
Yeah. No, you're right.
He won at Florida State. They paid him because of his reputation. So it is what it is, man.
Definitely. Well, to get back, I was trying to get to. So I heard on the radio that they're already asking Deion if he's going to go to Texas A&M. I want to know what you thought on that. I mean, let me tell you his comment back first. Deion was just like, dude, I'm just trying to win. And there's a game that's going to be played on Friday, and I want to win that game. I'm kind of paraphrasing almost word for word, by the way. But he was like, dude, like, he was basically like, we got a game on Friday. You think I care about that? I don't care about winning. I want to win. I haven't won in a while. So I don't know if you heard that response, Ray, but what's your thought on that possibility?
Nothing ever surprises me, Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he does he really want to go to Colorado, leave Colorado that quickly without really doing anything?
Yeah,
I wouldn't if I were him. But that's
I agree.
I wouldn't. I'd stick it out in Colorado for another year or two, turn their program around, and then instead of going to a dysfunctional Texas A&M, because Jimmy Fisher's not the only problem with that team, man.
Correct.
Like, don't get me wrong, they need to clean that act up.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring a more disciplined guy in there. Urban Meyer. I mean, I know. I know. I do. I understand. But if I were a team, especially a team like that, who only cares about winning, that's all they care about, dude. It's Texas.
Yeah.
Football. God, faith in football. Okay, man?
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it, man. Like, so it's a shame because I don't like Urban Meyer. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody really does, but except for the guys that he works with, apparently, because they all act like they love him.
Yeah.
So he must be a hell of a guy behind the scene, like to just sit down and talk to. He must be a nice,
maybe, yeah,
like a guy's guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably would want to put it. But anytime there's a job like that open, Urban Meyer should be and probably will be involved in the conversation.
Yeah.
If I were Deion, I wouldn't do that. But again, nothing surprises me, dude.
No, I agree. All right, my next question for you, and then we're gonna get back to the games. But the whole Jim Harbaugh situation, we didn't get to talk about it last week.
You know what, Jerome? For that. Can we say that for last, if you don't mind?
Yeah, you want to do that for last?
Unless you want to have something you want to say and get off your chest.
Okay, let's do it. Let's save that for last then. All right, cool. All right, let's get to some of these games then. All right, Ray's anxious to get to the games.
No, I just have something I want to and get off my chest about Jim Harbaugh and about the way that I don't think. Again, man, I don't know everything that happened, and I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for anything or anyone or what happened. But again, I have something I want to.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about it later. Let's talk about it later. All right, next game we're going to talk about is the Florida versus Miami, man. Florida State rather versus Miami. I just realized I say Florida. Yeah, so Florida State versus Miami game, really good game. A overtime game, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was it overtime?
Yeah.
Yes, overtime game. So, Florida State ranked number 4. They won 27-20. Initially, Florida State looked like they were going to run away with it. Miami came back. It was tied up 10-10 at the half. And then at the end of the game, no, this wasn't overtime. I'm sorry. It wasn't overtime. It was a fourth quarter win.
Yeah. The one at the end, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But Ray, I know we have one overtime game. I was trying to think about that one. But Ray, what's your thoughts on this one? Florida State just squeaking out, being a top-ranked team.
Really a closer game than I thought it was going to be honest with you. I thought they would win Miami by at least 10. Miami played a good game. Like you said, they fell behind in the beginning and then came back, and Jordan Travis had a decent game, but not one of his best games.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, a win's a win. You're gonna win your games, but in college football, man, those kind of wins matter at the end of the day, because all that kind of stuff gets evaluated. And Miami wasn't a great team this year. They're okay team, and they hung in there with a top-ranked team, which is number 4 right now. And Florida almost lost that game and almost lost their spot. Now we're gonna get into the rankings in a little bit, but Florida State is still number 4 right now, so it didn't hurt them that much. But at the end of the year, man, and you're trying to figure out who's going to be 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the end of the year, and some of these teams are on the hills like a Washington or Oregon, possibly even Alabama. They're still ranked number 5, and we're going to get into that, like I said. But Alabama's been hot lately. You get it, and if Florida State slip up somewhere, or maybe not even slip up, but like keep squeaking out these close wins, where the committee start looking at it like, you almost lost to this team, and they want to pay Alabama, and that. So if Alabama somehow beats Georgia in the championship game,
well, if Alabama beats Georgia in the you have no choice but to put them in there.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Oh, no, you have no choice.
Yeah.
It's like,
Alabama, watch out for stuff like this. Florida State, rather.
Team since week 3, Alabama has played as good a football as almost anybody in the country.
Correct.
I mean, the record is what the record is, and they have to climb their way back up. But right now, I wouldn't want to play Alabama.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get to our next game, and that will be Utah versus Washington. I'm sorry, not that one. Take that off. We're going to talk about Missouri versus Tennessee. Missouri. The reason why I want to talk about this game is because I did not expect Missouri to be this good this year. And they literally went out there, played a SEC rivalry game, beat the Tennessee Volunteers 36-7. I don't want to harper on this game too long, Ray, but what's your takeaway from this, man? This is an insane game.
Missouri has played all year, basically. And I picked them to lose this game. And
I did too.
I think you took Missouri in this game, Jerome.
I did?
I think you did.
I don't even remember that. I'm going to have to think that up. But
no, you took Missouri. You have Missouri.
I don't remember that.
See, that's a good thing when you write it down, man. It's easy to find.
Yeah, I did take Missouri. Missouri.
Yeah.
And I think my main thing was that Tennessee's defense haven't been looking good, and Joe Milton, man. And the thing is, Joe Milton didn't even have a horrible game. He was 22 for 33, 267 yards. He did have an interception. He had a touchdown too. It was Milton and himself, really.
Yeah.
There was no other contributors on his offense, really.
Brady Schrader, the running back from Missouri, ran the ball 35 times for 205 yards.
Yes.
I mean, average 6 yards a carry, had a touchdown, and caught 5 passes for 116 yards.
Yeah.
This guy
was running their face. This man was literally running through their face.
He was responsible for 326 yards of offense by himself.
Yep.
As a running back.
Yep.
I mean,
they had no answer for him at all.
No, well, Tennessee's defense they put a whole new definition on sloppy tackling in this game.
Oh yeah.
It was horrible, man.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I know Tennessee's defense is not great.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a little light up front. They're a smallish defense too, which is not great. Not a good thing for stopping the run, But 205 yards. I mean, wow.
Same.
But man, again, Missouri, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been one of the people that I didn't think they were going to be that great. I thought they would be a solid team this year, but they've been better than I thought, and they played well just about every week.
Mm-hmm.
They have. They're proving me wrong. They're a better team than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, like I said, Cook's been cooking. Been cooking.
Did 18-24, 275, another 55 yards rushing, counted for 2 touchdowns. I mean, their offense has been rolling, and their defense is really flies around and makes plays.
Correct. Yeah, this Missouri team definitely came out of nowhere. They literally came out of nowhere. They really did. Kudos to the coach there. What's his name? Coach Eli Drinkwitz.
Yep, Drinkwitz. Yep. I mean, they're flying around and making plays all over the place, man. So again, they're a better team than I thought they were going to be, and maybe they get in someone's way later on down the road. We'll see.
Definitely.
I don't know what their schedule is right in front of me. I don't have it in front of me, so.
I could check it right here. Give me 1 second. So Missouri is going to be playing. They got Florida next week, and they got Arkansas next week.
Well, that's 2 games they should win. They should win both of those games.
I mean, they're second. They're currently second in the East right now, right? Yeah. So it's very, very interesting how that's going to turn out. Before we get to the next part, I just want to look at this real quick. How the SEC is kind of shaping out, because just curious. So obviously in the West we got Alabama. It looks like they're gonna pretty much run away with it, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the East we got Georgia and Missouri. So obviously it's gonna be Georgia and Alabama. Even if somehow, some way, Georgia lose the next 2, I think they still be in at number 1 in the East. Alabama could lose 2, and then Ole Miss jumped them. Let me see who Alabama play. I think Alabama already played Ole Miss, right? Yeah. So, Alabama got 2 more games. They got 3 more games, not 2.
Who do they play?
Wait, they're already scheduling the. Never mind. They have 2 more games. They got Chattanooga and Auburn, so they should finish out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Undefeated for the rest of the year, rather. Yeah. But they already paying in UGA. They already got it December 2nd, them against Georgia. So I guess they already clinched. I don't know.
I'm assuming that.
Or they're just assuming. I don't know. That's weird that they got it already, but
that's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah. No, 100%. Unless Georgia if Georgia plays, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Anyway, I just think it's funny how they have that game already penciled in already. But anyway, I mean, I think we all do. Just want to check that real quick. Yeah. All right. Let's do one more. You want to talk about the Oregon game, or you want to talk about the Washington thing? I think Washington, right?
Yeah, let's do Washington.
Okay. All right. So Washington versus Utah, really close game. Was that the one that was in overtime? I can't remember where it was. Here it is. No, it was regular. It was a in quarter game. Let's see. So Utah losing to Washington 35-28. Like we've been saying all year, man, Utah been without their starting quarterback all season. Barnes been doing a really good job stepping in. Michael Penix on the opposite side looking like a Heisman candidate. Ray, what's your total thoughts on this one?
I mean, Utah tried, man. They actually tried throwing some defensive looks at Penix that had him struggling at times to get completions, but there's just too much firepower on that Washington for them without their quarterback. It's a shame. I would like to see what happened if their quarterback would have played in this game. It would have been a lot, maybe 100%. And even though, like I said, in Utah, it doesn't look like because they scored 35 points, but Utah's defense actually did not play a horrible game here.
They didn't, and that's actually what I was gonna say is that Utah, despite the
points,
not putting up the points, man. First of all,
they put a lot of pressure on Penix the whole game.
Yeah, and
they did a decent job against the run the whole game, but. Man, let's face it, Michael Penix is a special player, man, and he made enough plays to help to win the game for them. So
and Washington's defense actually got a pick six in the game too, so that actually made their score go up even more. Yeah. But considering Barnes only having 2 interceptions was a big part of this game. I just told you about the pick six that just happened at the in the game that really turned the tides and allowed Washington to have enough score. It's only a touchdown different game, This game was a little bit more pass happy for Utah than I thought it was going to be honest. I thought they
couldn't establish any run game though.
Yeah.
That was the problem. I mean, like they couldn't really get the run game going at all.
Yeah.
So they had to depend on the quarterback a little bit more than I think they would have liked to have, but it was a good game, man. Like I just want good games, and like I had a lot of good. Again, this week we had a lot of good games.
Correct.
A couple bad games. Dropping to bet against Missouri, but there was a lot of good games this week.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree, and Penix. I don't think Penix had the greatest game. Numbers are solid. 24 for 42. So he was struggling a little bit, but I think he's still in the Heisman race. I think who's he losing to right now?
I don't know that.
I think he might be in the first spot, right?
I mean, it's probably going to.
I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Still him and Caleb Williams, or no?
Caleb Williams kind of fell off a little bit for some people. I think he's like maybe.
Bo Nix. Is Bo Nix in there?
Bo Nix is up there. Bo Nix is up there. They say Bo Nix is a first round pick now.
Well, let's pump the brakes with that. But he's played good football the last 2 years, and he had a really good game last week. He did. So,
Chris, we're gonna fight for you saying that. I think I said this on one of the other podcasts, and I thought it was so funny when I heard it on the radio. He's trying because the whole stealing signs thing.
Oh,
yeah, he's trying to make a joke out of that. No, I thought it was funny. I heard on the radio this. I guess one of the announcers was talking about being at the. I think it was Ohio State game or something like that. I forgot who did it, but it doesn't matter who did it. It was funny. They said there was a sign out there where somebody said Jim Harbaugh stole my other sign. I thought that was hilarious. When I heard that, I was cracking up. I thought that was so funny, so funny. So appreciate you, Chris, for getting on. Good joke. I guess. All right, we'll see you in a week, man. We'll see you in a week. And we'll definitely be talking about that game soon. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's games. Before we get to our picks, I do want to quickly go over the rankings because I want to know how you feel about them, Ray. So I'm gonna start from let's start from 10, and then we're gonna go up. So if you guys haven't seen the rankings, it's gonna be your first time seeing them. They get released every Tuesday night now, so it gives us some time and. I know not everybody hears them right away, so let's get right to it. Number 10, we got Louisville. Louisville are playing really well this year. New number 9, Missouri. We were just talking about Missouri playing really well this year. Knocked down Tennessee, who was in the high teens. Now they got knocked down to 18. So, Missouri looking good right now. At number 8, I was kind of surprised on it, just a little bit. Alabama's at number 8. Alabama is one of the hottest teams right now. I'm just gonna say it just like that. They start off really slow, lost a game, but they're pretty hot right now. And if they keep continuing, and then if they can beat Georgia,
their quarterback may be the most improved player in college football this year, man.
I agree.
Even from week
Jalen Milroe. Yeah. Milroe playing very well.
Player in college football, and I think it's because he's just playing football now, dude.
Yeah. He's playing free.
He's playing football,
Exactly. And you can see it. His confidence is definitely up there. So he's playing really well. Number 7, we got Texas. We didn't get to talk about that Texas game, but they almost lost to who was it? TCU? Who did they just play? Yeah, TCU. They almost lost to TCU.
Yeah.
They almost lost to TCU. So their ranking never changed. I thought they was gonna slip a little bit. That was kind of interesting to see that, but it is what it is. Number 6, we got Oregon. Oregon's playing really well. We just talked about Bo Nix getting some Heisman talks and some first round talks as well. So we'll see how that goes. At number 5, now we got the top 5 right now. This is the important part. We got Washington, obviously, just coming off that game versus Utah, a really tough Utah team. Even without the quarterback, Utah's always a tough team to play. They are ranked right now. Still at number 22. So Washington team, Heisman candidate also with Penix as well. Number 4, which just surprised me the most because I thought this was the team that might have slipped one slot down. Florida State, had that tough game against Miami, who not really a good team. I thought that was really interesting to see. Before we get to the next one, Chris says, after 10 years of college football, come on, man. It wasn't 10 years. Stop that. That's funny, though, Chris. After 10 years, Bo Nix looked finally like a first-round pick. I'm dead. So Florida at number 4. Number 3, Michigan. I actually did not think that Michigan was going to move at all. I'm okay with this ranking right now, especially as a Michigan fan. I'm okay. Now, this is the part that gets crazy. Ohio State, number 2, and Georgia, number 1. Now, before I start, because Chris got a comment here, FSU got lucky against Miami, especially with that non-safety call. Yeah. I mean, that game could have definitely turned out differently. That's why I was saying, I thought they was going to slip down. When I seen this ranking and they stayed at 4, I was like, ooh, people are not going to be happy about that. But anyway, especially Washington fans, I know they're looking at that very closely.
Well, again, but if Washington would have played a little bit better against Utah,
that's true. That's true.
Jump up.
Yeah, no,
Florida State won the game.
Good point.
What we say last week about you shouldn't fall if you win your game, right?
You're right. Good point. Well, it's funny that you say that, Ray. It's funny that you say that.
I'm listening.
Georgia is number 1. Ohio State is number 2.
I mean, that is just an overreaction because they know they overreacted the week before.
This is my thing, Ray. And I'm going to actually do something that kind of making my stomach curl a little bit right now. I'm going to defend Ohio State a little bit because it's my thing. Ohio State didn't lose. And Ohio State not only didn't they lose, but they played very well in this week. So did Georgia. Don't get me wrong. My thing is, if you're gonna do something like this, you should have just kept it as it was. You might as well just kept it as it was. My whole gripe with having Ohio State #1 in the first place, they should just kept it how it was. And now that they had Ohio State there, they should just kept exactly how it was. Keep Ohio State #1 and let Georgia. Because the other thing too is Ohio State still have to play Michigan, and for you to knock them down now, like they still have to play Michigan. Like Georgia is pretty much done the gauntlet of their schedule, right? Ohio State still have to play Michigan. So it was either not have Georgia in the second spot in the first place, or keep Ohio State there until Ohio State prove otherwise. I don't think Ohio State did anything to deserve to be #2. As much as I hate to say that, I don't think they did anything to deserve to be #2 after you already picked them at #1.
Again, I think it was a little bit of overreaction. You can't, and you could say that Georgia winning their game was a better win than what
it was. It was a better opponent. They had Ole Miss, or what I think it was.
Well, if you remember, that was the reason why Ohio State jumped ahead of them, because their opponents were a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think this is more of an overreaction to the fact that they looked and said, why did we move Georgia from #1 to begin with?
Yeah, I mean,
it just went again, man. It don't, man. It doesn't matter.
And also, Ray, do you think it's like the reemergence of having Brock Bowers back? Because he came back a little bit sooner than I thought he was going to be.
Well, of course. I mean, you pick your #1 player on offense away, you're not as good a team.
Yeah.
Again, they should never have. You're right about one thing. They should never have done it. It should have never been done. Like last week, we were talking about how they shouldn't have done it.
Correct.
So they shouldn't have done it. And if I'm an Ohio State fan, I don't care. I mean, I wouldn't. If it were Notre Dame, I wouldn't care. I'm in the playoffs. I don't care if I'm 1 or 4. I don't care.
I agree. So I'm just curious what Chris thinks. If Remy's out there, if you're listening, I'm curious what you Ohio State fans feel about this.
We already know. We already know what they think. Really, get it?
I mean, I'm just curious because
I told you before. I try not to be biased.
Yeah,
I've never seen Ohio State fan that wasn't biased, man. Never once, dude. Never once.
Chris, I agree. I agree.
Correct.
Georgia should stay #1.
Yeah.
Paying them back realized they made a mistake. Yep, I agree.
If you remember last, dude, don't be surprised if in the conference championship game, if Alabama or Georgia lose a close game, that they don't both wind up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Especially if Alabama wins a close game and Georgia's still ranked #1.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised.
Right. This playoff's going to be crazy because, like,
be fun. I love it, though, man. I'm not involved.
I love it, too, because, look, you still got to get – in the championship, you're still going to have Georgia play Alabama. Michigan and Ohio State still have to play. You got to see how those games turn out, because if it's any of those games, either one of those games, either way becomes like a blowout, one of those teams are probably going to go to like 5 or 6.
Agreed.
Get like a Washington or Oregon in if it's a blowout. Now, if they're close, it's probably going to be a playoff rematch where you have Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State all in the playoffs.
You got to remember, also we're looking at like we just got done talking about the Oregon and Auburn. Auburn and not Auburn. Why can't I remember? Oh, Utah.
You said Oregon?
Yeah,
Utah and Washington.
Utah and Washington. We just got to talk about the Utah and Washington game, right? Mm-hmm. Again, the fans like we are. You're thinking too, if Ryzen plays in this game, who knows what would have happened?
Oh yeah.
Washington fans should just be glad that they're still ranked 5, and hopefully one of the other teams fall and they get in that top 4.
Yeah.
Man, like here's the thing. I'm a Notre Dame fan, everybody knows, but I love college football. And I just want to see good games.
This year was a bad year to not start the extended playoffs. Every year
Every year is a bad year not to have a finish.
Every year.
There should be 8 teams in the playoffs.
Right.
And I think 8 is a good number.
Yeah, I think 8's a good number. I'll be okay or consent with 6. I actually think 6 is a good number as well. Then you just have 2 teams on a bye.
I don't mind 8. I don't want them to go above that though.
Ooh, that's overkill. Over 8 is overkill.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable with 6. I would.
I'd be comfortable with 6 too, actually.
I would. I think that
because I think every year we had that 5 and 6 team that's just like there. It's just like, and then they never let them in. And just like what is always kind of like that. What if? Like I think 4 is not enough at all. I don't even know why they started off with 4, but I mean it is what it is. It is
Final 4.
Yeah, I guess
it is, man. Final 4. That's what it is.
All right, let's get to our next point, Ray, real quick. So let's get to our game picks of the week. So we are going to go to week number 12.
If anybody listened to my picks last week, I'm sorry, but I was bad last week, man.
Yeah,
I was bad.
Yeah, did Purdue win that game?
Purdue, we did win that game.
Yeah, I picked Purdue too. Damn, I did do pretty well.
You did. You had a good week, Jerome. I had a horrible week, but you had a good week.
Yeah, but man,
we both had Michigan. You had Missouri. I had Tennessee.
Iowa put it on Rutgers. Dang, 22-0.
Horrible, man. Horrible.
I was not expecting that. Jeez, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I was just so tunnel vision with the Michigan games, man. I don't know. I didn't look at every single score. Rutgers just dropped the ball on that, man. And I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I really didn't think it was that bad.
They had a lot of turnovers. Their special teams really were bad. And it kind of like just steamrolled away from them. Because when Rutgers wins, they win close.
Yeah, that's true.
When gets out ahead of them, they're pretty much done. So.
No, you're right. All right, let's get to our first game picks of the week. We're going to pick Boston College. Ray's under Loving's team. I think Ray loves his team. Boston College versus Pitt. That's his second favorite team. Who you thinking, Ray? Boston College?
No, I'm taking Pitt. And I respect Boston College. I do not like them.
Got you. All right. We both got the same.
They're like Michigan State to you, man. Like your little brother.
Yeah.
You don't always like them, but they're there.
Yeah. Exactly. Question: who takes the Texas A&M job? That's a great question, Chris. I think this is for me. I think the question is I always like to answer these a little bit after the season, just to see what teams kind of go. Yeah, Ray already said it earlier. He thinks he's going to be Urban Meyer. I don't not see that. I don't think it's one of my top list guys. I still think he might need like a year or two to still kind of get some of that taste out of people's mouths. Pause on that. I think people still kind of like iffy on him a little bit, just a little bit. Like it's almost faded. It's almost there. You don't think so at all?
No.
Yeah. Really?
I think the NFL was the NFL. People know it's a different animal. I mean, even though it's football and it's all coaching, I got that part. But
it was just a certain things that he was doing when he was in Jacksonville, though.
What's that?
It was just certain things that he was doing while he was at Jacksonville, right? It was just like even your team to hang out with a girl, you know what I mean, at the bar.
Probably had the college coaches in football do that, but we just don't know because he's not in the NFL where everything you do is magnified. All right. Steve Spurrier thought he could go, and Steve Spurrier was a great college coach. Thought he'd go to the NFL, but thought he could play golf half the time, and he was wrong. Animal, man.
How you go to the NFL thing? You can do less. That's crazy.
Well, that's the point, though, because he thought he's Steve Spurrier. Urban Meyer probably thought the same thing. I'm going to go here. I'm going to teach him how to run a team how I would run a team. And there's a difference between dealing with grown men and boys that have to look up to you, or young men, or young men that have to look up to you. There's a huge difference, man. Plus, college players are getting they're dipping in the money pool right now. But when you're an NFL coach, you're making $5 million, $10 million tops. You're dealing with athletes that are making 2 or 3 times more money than you, and you are always going to be the one that goes.
Yeah. Urban Meyer lost me when he was trying to make Travis Etienne a wide receiver his first couple of days in training camp.
I agree with everything you're saying about him, but I also know he's a high-profile name, and that's what Texas A&M is going to look for.
Sure. That's true.
There's a reason why they're
good.
Go ahead.
He said, Chris says, hey, that Rutgers Bowl
I agree.
For you.
I agree. Yo, Chris, I don't know if you listened to last week's. Me and Jerome did a whole 3 minutes about how we root for Rutgers and want them to be good.
Yeah. So $70+ million for Jimbo to stay at home, just to be fired. We talked about that earlier, Chris. Go check that out earlier, but we was basically like, that's a vacation. Yeah, he's going on vacation. That's a vacation for me. I don't even think.
I'll make it simple. If I were Jimbo Fisher, I'm going one of 3 ways. I'm going to either go and play golf and do nothing the rest of my life, or I'm going to go to a small college team and do what I want. Or if I really want to clear my name, I'll go to the biggest program that will give me a job.
Definitely. Another question: if Williams and Mays QB1 and QB2, who's your quarterback 3? I'm gonna go on a limb, and I actually started the season rooting for Mays, and I thought Mays might have overpowered the number 1 spot. I'm gonna go on a limb and says Mays might not even be the 3rd quarterback, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit when we start doing our draft. I want to get a little bit more information, but based on what I'm seeing, based on other quarterbacks, because this. Ray, I'm gonna tell you this. I think this early, and this really depends on who declares too. So I don't want to go too hard on this hot take. So I want to know by clipping this out. But this might be one of the best quarterback classes in ages. Might be. We still gotta see. We gotta start seeing. We still gotta see who comes out. Like you still got JJ McCaffrey. He possibly coming out. We got. Mays, I think he's still got 1 more year of eligibility as well. So we're gonna see if he comes out. There's a couple of quarterbacks that
is gonna come out probably.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few different quarterbacks that are going to come out. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would rather wait till I'm a little bit further into to evaluating quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know now. I don't know. I'd say right now I would go. Some people really like McCarthy. I'm not as big a fan of him. Michael Penix, I think, is a name though. Quinn Ewers, if he comes out, could be a highly ranked guy.
I heard Quinn Ewers has already announced that he's coming back.
Okay, I mean, I again, he probably will. Bo Nix is going to be in the conversation as a first round pick. I wouldn't take him in the first round, but he's played really good football for about a year and a half now, and we got to at least give him that he has played pretty well. But
yeah, so here's mine right here. Hold on, I'm looking for this real quick.
I do have a list of quarterbacks that I have in my thing.
Yeah, my dark horse right now for number 3, if there is gonna be a 3, and I hate to say this because I was like crapping on this guy when he was before he transferred, Bo Nix.
Yeah,
he's a guy that could come out too. Bo Nix is gonna be a guy that might be my number 3 right there. Always JJ McCaffrey. I obviously I'm a little biased on that. I think he's I think he's a really good quarterback and can be a guy. You also got Jaden Daniels from LSU. He's
Who's had
really
a really good year so far.
right.
Again, Penix has had a really good year.
Mm-hmm.
I would have him in any conversation. Drake May, I'd still like. He's a little mechanical.
I do
For
too.
me.
I do too. He's
He's
not today's
though.
quarterbacks though. That's the issue with me with that. You know, he
Yeah,
can be today's quarterback, but he's not really. You know, so
I guess Rison's not going to come out, right?
maybe not. Maybe, and if he does, he probably get knocked down a little bit because of his injuries.
Jaden Daniels is good.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to come out though, right?
he might. He might.
Honestly, if I had to go a third one right now, I would go Michael Penix, to be honest with you.
Okay.
He is the best body of work. I mean, especially in today's offense where they don't really like
Oh, Chris, you're funny. You're funny.
I hate to say it, man. The Giants are in purgatory now because they've paid their quarterback who's not worth half of what they paid him.
No.
They completely played that wrong, man.
Definitely. I know we're talking a little draft, but Chris, I don't know if you remember my draft laugh, and we did this draft live last year, and my annual draft live laugh was the Cowboys taking dang, why am I forgetting his name? He's on my team last year. Defensive tackle. Man, well, I'm thinking of his name. That's crazy. I forgot his name already. But it was Michigan's defensive tackle, and Cowboys got him in the first round. And then a Cowboys fan had a nerve to say he was better than Jalen Carter. I'm like,
well, that's stupid. Like,
excuse me?
And I like the guy from Michigan, but I think he's more of a.
Yeah, I remember you was hired Mozzie Smith. Thanks, Chris. Mozzie Smith. Thank you.
I mean, I like Mozzie Smith, but he's more of a 0 or a 1.
Yeah, Ray, you was higher on Mozzie Smith than I was actually.
I didn't think
he was going to be a first round pick.
I didn't think he was going to be a first round pick either, and I wouldn't have taken him in the first round because I would never take a guy who's a 0 or a 1 tech in the first round.
Correct.
But in today's football, if you're going to run a 3-4, the Giants really don't. I mean, the Cowboys don't truly run a 3-4 though.
Yeah,
that's stupid. Though. I mean, anybody. Chris, who said that?
Cowboys fans on Twitter.
They're going crazy. Never listen to Cowboys fans, apparently.
All right, let's get to our picks, man. We're babbling on too much about the picks. Thanks, Chris. We do appreciate your comments, man. We do. All right, so we got the pick game. Next game we're going to talk about is Colorado versus Washington State. Washington State is favored by 4.5. They are at home. Who you taking, Ray?
I got Washington. Say it. I got State.
Yeah. This is just me hoping. I'm gonna go Colorado. This is just my hope. I think this is a game that Deion needs. They on a 5-game losing streak right now. I think Deion needs this game, and with all the talks going around with him, possibly leaving, and all this, I think that he's gonna find a way to win this game. I just kind of have this feeling. So there's more of a feeling pick than anything. Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel about that way.
Okay.
Next one, Louisville versus Miami. This game's actually a pick'em game, right?
I got Louisville in this game.
I got Louisville too. I don't even know. I have no idea why this is a pick'em game, right?
Miami's at home.
Is this something that I'm missing? Is somebody injured?
No, not that I know of. Miami's at home.
The eyeball test to me tell me this game should not be.
Louisville is they're going to maul these guys, dude. They're going to maul them.
That's what I'm getting at.
That game's going to be like 27-17, 27-13.
Yeah, I agree with you, Red.
I agree with you, Chris. No,
he's
not leaving Colorado.
I agree with you.
He's not a quitter, dude. He wouldn't do that. He's not.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if I'm Deion Sanders and I'm like, yeah, I really want to say Colorado, but I see 6 years, $80 million. I mean, come on, man. Like, I got to take care of my family. I have to.
Definitely. No, I agree. All right. Next game, we got Arizona versus Utah. Arizona's at home. They're favored by 1. Who you taking?
I'm taking Utah.
I'm taking Utah as well. Utah proved to me over and over again that they're a good team. They're just missing one piece, obviously. And it's a shame because, and don't get me wrong, I think Braden's doing a good job as a filler, especially with his first season, allowing his team to get to the point where they're at right now. But if they had Cam Rising, I truly believe this would be a top 6 team right now. I really do.
You're at least a top 7 team with quarterback, without a doubt.
100%. I agree.
Yep.
All right. Next game, we got UNC versus Clemson. Clemson coming off a really big win. A lot of people probably like, oh, it was just Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's a good team, man. Don't sleep on Georgia Tech.
They were a good team, and there's a reason why the line in the game started out at 12 and got down to 9.
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson. I got Clemson in this game, and I'm a Mac Jones fan, so I'll be rooting for North Carolina, but I think Clemson's been playing good football for the last couple of weeks. I know some people that thought that Georgia Tech was going to beat Clemson last week, and I was like, I would not go there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it because they're like, oh, they shot their load beating Notre Dame. Yeah, man, people overestimate how good Notre Dame is. Apparently,
correct.
I'm not doing that.
So. No, I agree with you. I'm actually going with UNC with this one, and a close lining for me. I'm not gonna. That 7 points is crazy. That's a big.
It is crazy. I would take North Carolina to cover the line for sure. And I've been rooting for North Carolina, but I don't.
Correct. Yeah. Carolina, obviously, like we always say, Carolina had bad defensive problem. That's not going away. I just think North Carolina have enough offensive power. Clemson's defense was struggling. Their offense was struggling. They didn't have a good game.
It is defensively, and that does have me a little bit worried. But also, Clemson's found their running game the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if North Carolina can deal with that.
That's true. Shout out to my guy Sheldon Lewis. He got his first pick 6 in the game. Also, Avion Terrell, who's AJ Terrell's little brother, got to interview him as well. Shout out to him. He got his first career pick in that game as well. So some Georgia guys that I've been able to interview. And they, coming in as freshmen at Clemson and playing very well, and recording some of their first recording interception. So shout out to those DBs, man. I think the future for their DBs at Clemson is really good. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna be good. Next game we got Georgia versus Tennessee. Georgia's favored by 10, and they're away. Now I know we're both taking Georgia, right? We both take How do you feel about the line, though?
Honestly, Jerome, after the way they played last week, I feel really good about the line. I would not touch Clemson. I would not touch Tennessee.
I actually agree. Now, if Tennessee sneaks up on them a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see Tennessee winning this game. I know in the beginning of the season, this game was the marquee game in the beginning of the season. It really was.
It was.
But
if Tennessee falls behind early, this game's over.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Tennessee is not as good as we thought they might have been this year. I was skeptical about it just because the change at quarterback, and my personal feelings with Joe Milton. Joe Milton the funny thing is Joe Milton wasn't really the problem with this team though.
They're not. And earlier in the season they were running the ball better, and the last few weeks have gone away from the run.
Correct.
And Joe Milton is a good quarterback, but he needs a run game so he can do other things off of the run game.
Correct.
I just think that they've lost their identity the last couple of weeks, and last week they got steamrolled by a team that I think was that much better than them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. Next game, we got Washington versus Oregon State. Oregon State is actually favored by 2.5. They're home.
I got Washington.
I got Washington too. Oof. I mean, that
I don't know if Oregon
crazy.
can keep scoring enough points to beat them guys. So
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. It's like as long as you got Michael Penix back there, he's out there slinging the ball. I agree. Now it does say Oregon's favorite, but Oregon is also at home, so they got a 3-point boost. So Washington got a slight favor. I'm not found on that line. I'm not great with it.
Well, it started out as one though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm not great on it. Well, a half because I got 2.5, so a half. But still, that line is a little too close. Still, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good game though. I think it's gonna be a cool game. I just think like one of those games where the better team's gonna run away with it at the end of it, and that's gonna be Washington. So.
Yeah.
All right, last game, real quick. We got Kentucky versus South Carolina. South Carolina is at home. Kentucky's favored by 1.5. Who you taking, Ray?
I'm going to take Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not crazy about the game, but I got Kentucky.
I 100% agree with everything you just said. I'm not crazy about the game. I think Kentucky is at a point where they're just like they need to get back to where they were in the beginning of the season, which was running the ball. Being efficient with running the ball. They got away from it for whatever reason. And ever since they've been unraveling. So
took the words right out of my mouth, Ron. Felt the same way. They're not running the ball as efficiently, and they're just not as good a team.
Correct. So if they can get up and figure out how to get that running game back together, I think they're going to be able to win this game. But not crazy, like you said, not crazy about this game. I think it go either way.
And if you look at Kentucky's defense, it's solid, but it's a little light up front. So they need to run the ball and get a lead so they can continue to run the ball and just let their defense go after the quarterback.
Yep.
If you don't do that, they struggle.
I agree. Well, that's going to do it for our game picks this week. I hope that we both have a good week. I don't think we have that many changes. One.
Just two.
Just two? Okay. 3.
No.
Just two. Right.
UNC in Colorado.
Yep, you're right. It's two.
So, Washington State and Clemson.
Good luck, sir. All right, but let's get into our last segment real quick because I know we was gonna end off on this. The Jim Harbaugh situation. Now, I'll start because it seems like you have a little bit that you want to talk about too, Ray, and maybe I can pick it back off of you after you get that. My thing is, I'm okay with the punishment. I'm okay with the length of the punishment. What I'm not okay with is when I heard that the investigation is still going on and Harbaugh got suspended. I think the team can survive without him throughout the regular season. Once the playoff starts, it's going to be rough. So they will need him for the playoffs, and then he is going to be there for the playoffs. My thing is, if there's an ongoing investigation, how can you punish somebody while there's the investigation is still being resolved? I think that is kind of messed up. I think that the committee was trying to jump the gun because it is at the end of the season, so they're trying to hurry up and do something real quick without allowing the progress to go on, and then it would be a similar situation like this year where Harbaugh was suspended the first few games of the season, but it didn't really matter because we didn't really play anybody crazy. I think that's the situation that's going on, where it just kind of we need to give him a bigger punishment. We don't want it to be in the beginning of the season. Let's give it to him now, even though the investigation is not already done. I want to hear what you got to say, Ray, because you're not a Michigan fan. I want to hear from an outside perspective.
Well, I mean, my question is, why did they wait so long to do it? And why can't they just wait till next year to suspend them if they want to suspend and not interfere in what is a pretty good college season? And not just for Michigan, for college and football in general.
Correct.
A pretty good year.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to cast shadow over your own sport?
Yeah.
Not wait until the investigation's done and say, you know what, we don't really want to get in the middle of our season this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to wait till next year for fines, suspensions. After we complete the investigation and see what goes on, we're going to hear Jim Harbaugh's side of what's going on, and then we're going to evaluate everything once this season's over.
Correct.
You've almost created a martyr aspect of it where Michigan people are, you know what the funny thing is? You may get Michigan playing harder now because you've done this. Is that what you want?
That tweet by JJ McCaffrey just like,
I mean, honestly, Jerome, if I was Jim Harbaugh, here's what I would do. I would go into the college, whoever runs college football, and I'm honestly, I don't even know who that is. And I really don't even want to know who it is. I don't care. Okay. I love college football, probably more than they do, but that's okay. I'm just going to say this. I would go in there and say, yo, if you guys keep pushing this envelope like this, I'm going to bring out every skeleton I know, and then you can all deal with that. And then I'll go run to the NFL. And I'm going to bury you guys. I'm going to bury everything I know. I'm going to bring out everybody that I know of, okay? And then you guys will be left with deal with repercussions, and I'll go sign a $20 million contract to go coaching NFL somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's one way. That's one way I would deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I were Jim Harbaugh, I would go to the Big Ten and say, yo, man, we need to get Notre Dame, Florida State, and anybody else who wants to join the Big Ten and tell them, you know what, this is Big Ten football. Screw all of yous.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to create a conference that can beat any conference in college football. And you know what bothers me more than anything else, Jamie, Jerome? The SEC teams do more cheating than anybody, but every time anybody else does it, everybody throws mud at them. I don't understand.
Oh, you should hear, dude. It's crazy because this is why another reason why I'm like, I think Georgia fans hate Michigan.
And here's the thing:
the radio stations down here are dragging Michigan and Harbaugh, and I'm like, what did this got to do with you guys? I'm like, hold on, like Michigan's all the way up here, you all the way down here, huh? Different conferences. Like if they was in the same conference or something, okay.
Just like I texted you the other day, dude. They're afraid. Okay.
Yeah.
They're afraid. They already are. They know they need to be afraid of Ohio State. Yeah. They don't want to have to be afraid of Michigan too.
But there's the thing too, right? And when you're saying they're afraid, you got to think about the Big Ten. The Big Ten always had a high, like it was. I mean, historically, it was always Michigan, but Ohio State just came up. Michigan starting to get better and looking like a good team again after having, a couple of years of meh. Now you're about to introduce UCLA, who just fired Chip Kelly, which we didn't mention. I'm sorry, they didn't fire him yet, but I'm hearing a lot of rumors saying that they fire him this year. I mean, in this upcoming week. So we got the UCLA, who's probably going to get a way better coach that's going to go to the Big Ten. Then you got Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Oklahoma's about to go to the Big Ten.
Not to cut you off, there's another program that Urban Meyer could go to, especially with
UCLA. I can see that. That I feel like I could see that more than Texas A&M. Honestly,
I didn't think about that until you just mentioned that about Chip Kelly.
Mm-hmm. And then over Meyer going back to the Big Ten.
That would make a lot of sense, man.
Yeah,
it would. If I were UCLA, I would be calling him already.
Wasn't there like another team or two that's going to the Big Ten? Or am I blanking on it?
USC.
Yeah, USC. There you go. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, if we were to get together, and here's the difference, man. And this is why I get annoyed. Like a few years ago, when we used to have the arguments all the time about which conference is better. Yeah, man. I live in Big Ten country.
Correct.
I believe Big Ten football. I do.
Correct.
I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah.
The way I wish Notre Dame was in the Big Ten. It would make it would make it better for me.
It makes a lot of sense. I always thought that. I always thought there was a little tough
If
team.
you got the Ohio State, Michigan, and it's a shame Nebraska and Wisconsin have taken his. I think with improved coaching, they'll be better. They both hire new coaches. I think they're going to be okay. But now you got UCLA, you got USC, and if you get Notre Dame and either like a Florida State or a Clemson, then you can tell the SEC to go pound sand. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love
the SEC is very top heavy. We already know that.
You are. I would love to sit here and tell you that Big Ten football is absolutely better than the SEC. Please make it happen. This is where I'm different than people. I don't like Michigan. I don't like Ohio State, but I love the Big Ten conference.
Correct. I agree.
Okay? That's where I'm different than everybody. That's why I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a freaking American. Good for me.
Let's go. USA. No, but I agree with you, right? If Big Ten is about to get some heavy hitters,
I would
not saying that those teams are like world beaters, but like it's gonna make a different dynamic, man. They always talk about, the championship game is always weak or less lackluster because it's always Michigan, Ohio State. They're two teams, and they play in the same conference. So by the time of the championship, it's kind of like a free for all. It's like a free game.
It's really the same. James Franklin is a horrible coach.
Yeah,
Penn State has enough talent to be that type of a team.
Yeah,
really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they're as good as Michigan talent wise or as good as Ohio State. They're probably not quite as good as they are. I think Michigan's more physical, and I think Ohio State skill players are better. I do. I'm not blind to that.
Yeah.
But I think Penn State has enough talent overall to be a top 5 team, but they never play like it.
Correct.
Even if they don't make that stupid play, they probably wind up losing Michigan by like 3 or 4 points, 5 points.
Yeah.
Okay, and I understand it's still a loss. I do. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's not like when I watch that play unravel, I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah. And that's the type of plays that like make your teams like it breaks your teams back a little bit because like you survive to a team that's a top 3 ranked team, and you're like we almost had it. We was almost there. We can beat anybody else. That gives your team confidence. Like now it was like what a 12-point game or something like that.
Yep.
You're like, damn, what happened? We was in it, and then we wasn't. Like,
I mean, it makes it look like you really weren't in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you watched the game, you saw that Penn State was in the game for 3.5 quarters, and they weren't going to win, but they were like right in the game.
Yeah. It made you a little nervous. Nervous.
Honestly, Jerome, here's the difference. I wasn't rooting for either team.
Correct.
I was just watching a good college football game.
Yeah.
That's all. I wasn't rooting for. I didn't no sweat off my bat if Michigan win. No sweat off my back if Penn State win. Even though if I was with my dad, I'd have been openly rooting for Penn State. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
But now my dad's gone, and I love college football, man.
Correct.
Again, I want what's best for college football. And believe me, I guess you plan on staying in Georgia. How much would you love it if one year it was one of the SEC teams and then 3 Big Ten teams in that Final Four?
Yes.
That's what I mean, though, Jerome. That's what I mean. That kind of stuff gives me goosebumps.
Correct. Yeah, I had a friend down here, and I was talking to her, and it was funny because she's a diehard Georgia fan. I'm a diehard Michigan fan. We was just talking about our teams one time. Actually, it was just this weekend, actually. And I was like, man, like, Michigan just won. Georgia just won our games. It might be a Georgia-Michigan game. You know what she said? She said no. Like, the odds of that happening is very high, right? She just said no. I'm like, okay, like there's respect. I'm like, man, these Georgia fans, man. The thing is, I don't hate Georgia. Like half of my NFL team is Georgia players. So
Jerome, honestly,
it's fun being in a hometown when their team is winning or wins. But now it's just getting annoying. But go ahead, Ray. I don't know what you were about to say, but
No, man, if I were a Georgia fan, I'd be freaking a great move all the time. Also,
yeah.
If I were an Alabama fan, I'd be proud of what Alabama's achieved.
Yeah, and be proud of your team.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But
the blowhard shit is what I don't understand. Like
that, yeah.
I don't get that, dude. Like I never have though. I guess.
Oh, my team's so superior. We got like, there's no other good teams, just my team. Like, like,
especially this year. I'd understand if it was Georgia 2 years ago. That team was loaded with like 15
last year. Both of those teams was dominant. Both of those teams are dominant. This Georgia team is not as good as those teams.
Not, man. You know what? Honestly, Jerome, I'm not going to say stop the game until the game's over.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Georgia and Alabama. I'm not going to lie about it, man. I can't wait to see that game. Especially when Alabama's playing right now.
They're hot. No, don't get me wrong. Georgia got hot too. Georgia got hot too.
Yeah,
I give Georgia the credit, all the credit they deserve, especially with Carson Beck, because I was not convinced with him. And I'm still, again, I think I said last week, I'm still not convinced. Still, I don't know. He didn't have that moment for me yet. I don't know what it is. I just feel like he didn't have that moment for me yet.
Jerome, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing, though. Like, I like Justin Herbert. And I think he's a good player. Has he ever had that moment, though, in college or the NFL?
I think he did, though. He had that one game where he came back and won that game. And it was a game that I think they needed. I think they needed, like, the last, like, 3 games or something like that. And they didn't get it. They didn't get it, but they needed that one game. And I think it was not last year. I think the year before that, where he had a moment. He had a moment.
He actually made the playoffs this year, but not 2 years ago. Yeah,
he went to the playoffs last year?
Last year. Yeah.
I'll say, maybe I'm thinking about that last year then. He had a moment. I forgot who he was playing.
He was actually beating Jacksonville 28-3 at halftime, and he lost.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a moment last year. I think it was last year.
Yeah, I can't remember. Player. I think.
Yeah. Ray, it's their defense.
No, they need to change coaches, man.
They pick. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I know this is an NFL thing. If I were Bill Belichick, I would beg the New England Patriots to fire me, and I would go to the Chargers and coach that team, dude. I would just go there. They don't even have to pay me a lot of money. I would just go there. That team's
you go there and
you tweak that
team got so much talent and just cannot get it together.
Go there and you for one, you find a good offensive coordinator, which I guess you could try to do that. You haven't really done a good job. I guess your boy's going to be available now since the Raiders just fired him. So I guess he'll be available now.
Who my boy?
No, Bill Belichick.
Oh, I thought you talking about some other guy that played for the Raiders. That's my boy.
No, Bill Belichick just the Raiders just fired a coach 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And you said that was my boy.
No, I meant that was Bill Belichick's guy.
Oh.
Yeah, so I
do not like no Josh McDaniels. I do not like that dude. I cannot stand him. I
would want that job.
Yeah.
I would want that job. Or the Browns job, maybe.
Yeah.
Even though maybe not now since Deshaun Watson quit playing football.
Definitely. Well, that's going to do it for us today, guys. We do appreciate everybody getting on, man. Hope y'all enjoy your weekend. Hope you enjoy your college football. As always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel or Instagram. We just had 8,000 on Twitter. We're on a huge path to get to 10,000. Our goal was to get to 10,000 by the end of this year. Now, will that happen? I don't know. We still got a little over a month and some change to see if that happens. But it won't happen if you guys don't help us out. So please go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, especially Twitter, because that's where we're trying to get our goal. YouTube, we have a lot of new content. We got a new podcast that's up now called First and Foremost. Make sure you go check that out, especially if you like college football or you just like come in and hear a good laugh and whatever, make sure you go check that out. We talk all types of football. They have some high school basketball segments in there. I can't relate because I can't do high school basketball. But my guys are really good at that. So if you like both of them, definitely go come check us out on there. Obviously, we got the RPO College Football Podcast here. We might be getting on Saturday next week. Me and Brady guys still talk about it. I didn't mention that to him, but we might be doing Saturday next week. So if you don't see us Wednesday, expect to see us on Saturday next week, right before all the games and everything happens. So super excited about everything, man. We're doing some great stuff inside the hashes. We're interviewing players. We're getting into draft season as well. So we're gonna start talking draft by the end of the year. We got the Senior Bowl about to come up in a few months, so a lot of the Senior Bowl coverage is about to start dropping. The Senior Bowl already started doing invites and stuff like that. So super excited about that. We got some off-season bowl games that we're gonna be attending. We're looking into getting some conditions for some really good bowl games. So definitely come check us out and everything like that. Ray, you got any final words you want to?
Nah, just everybody have a great weekend and enjoy your football. And if we don't go until next Saturday, because next week is Thanksgiving, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving if we don't see you on Wednesday. So definitely enjoy yourself, enjoy your family.
Holiday, so
yes, sir. A lot of football, a lot of food. Love it, man. It's a good holiday. So definitely take care of yourselves, take care of your family. Make sure you take care of us by giving us a like or subscribe right under where Ray is, right in that corner right over there. So please do that. Please help us out right over there. And we appreciate you, man. And I want to give thanks to all our followers, like Chris, like Remy, like Don, all the guys that have been, with us all season long, that have been helping us out and helping us grow as a company, as a podcast, man. We do appreciate you guys. And all our spectators, all the people that do watch but don't participate, we appreciate you too. I know we do have some followers or viewers that be in here and they don't comment and everything, but we do appreciate you guys. And if you do want to comment on here, you can comment even after the initial video. We have the comment section below. So if you have any questions, comments, whatever, college football wise, you can put it down below. Even if it's NFL, put it down below. We answer all emails and texts and all comments as well. So make sure you do that. So
that's real easy, man.
There you go. It's very easy, man. Just let us know what you want. We'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. Maybe you can help us out with some topics or anything like that. Yeah, I want us to talk about. So, like you seen when Chris was doing the same thing, we answered all his questions as well today. So, once again, guys, thank y'all so much. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Do your thing. Eat a lot. Eat some for me too, man. We appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. Peace.